Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Bashar, I understand what you said about riding the wave and the changes, and I
Yes.
do intend to do so by being on top of that wave. However, can you give us a little bit of an explanation as to why things did not go as
To
predicted?
break the status quo.
And is
To
it,
split the realities. To show you that the realities are split in a more concrete way. To actually begin the visceral experience of the splitting of parallel realities physically, not just now as an energetic metaphor, but to actually begin to physically experience the splitting into different parallel realities based on what different people prefer.
then why were we told that at a certain point in time there was 88%?
Because that was what happened at that moment. Remember that you were not privy to the fact that later on, closer to the nexus point, what you call the election, other people were asking questions, had the percentages changed? And we said, now the nexus is in chaos. It is absolutely impossible to tell. Everything is up for grabs. You simply were not privy to those conversations.
Right.
But at the time we were asked, when we were asked, that was the probability. Remember that there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. There is only a sensing of the energy that exists at the moment the prediction is made, but that energy can change, as obviously it did. The main thing to focus on, which was always the main thing to focus on, was not the details so much, but what we originally said that was unlikely to change, which was 100% certain, is that everything would change in the fall of 2016.
And I understand that this is only the beginning and we haven't even hit the big stuff yet.
Oh, you are going to find more big stuff, but you're already seeing many different kinds of things. You have what you call your withdrawal from the European Union of England.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
You have your election, which happened in your country, which obviously breaks from the status quo and reveals many things that you didn't expect. You have different individuals, such as your Fidel Castro dying. If that's not the end of an era on your planet, I don't know what is. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Many more things will begin to shift and change. You will start to see them accelerate. And even some of the things that don't appear to be that big right now, as we have said before, will in time be recognized as the seed that started changing now that led to bigger things later. But many things are now shifting around in a variety of ways. It's getting relatively obvious if you just look around.
Okay. And I will get back to this in a minute. But
Yes.
for the moment, will we get any feedback on the experiment that was presented in a meeting some time ago in Los Angeles about sending postcards into the president stay for 90-day period?
Yes, you will get feedback.
Okay.
Those of you who are unfamiliar with this, was simply the idea of the suggestion of every single day send a postcard to your government requesting in the most polite way that they disclose the presence of extraterrestrials. Every single day for 90 days in a row.
Right.
You can keep doing that.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Okay, so now is there any projected update on when first contact will happen?
At this moment, it is still in flux because things haven't settled from the breaking of the status quo. It is likely that it will not be later than 2040, but it hasn't settled back into the original window yet.
Okay. And we are at this time going through an awakening period.
Yes, you are.
You know, now those that choose because of free will not to awaken, what will happen to them?
As I said, you're beginning to experience the actual physical effects of a literal splitting into parallel realities. Now more than ever, you will begin to experience the idea that those of certain vibrations will begin to drift more and more farther apart from those that are vibrationally incompatible, and eventually, over time, will be ensconced in their own parallel reality and will no longer be experienced by those of a dissimilar vibration.
And are we experiencing that split by the deaths of a number of people?
Some of that, yes. Those that are also very, very, shall we say, representative or symbolic of the markers of change, such as the Castro individual that we mentioned. But you're also beginning to sense it in a variety of ways. You have recently discovered or coined a phrase that you call the Mandela Effect, where people are remembering histories differently.
Right.
That's a sign of the splitting into parallel realities that have different histories. But right now, you're bridging different parallel realities. And so it's possible for you to recognize individuals that are actually experiencing different histories than you may be. After a while, each will go into their own history time stream that seems relevant for their parallel reality. But right now, you are experiencing a multitude of histories that are representative of a multitude of parallel realities. Therefore, you will have differences of experience of what you remember as your so-called history.
Okay. Now they say that the last unknown frontier is space,
No,
but some people
the
say it's
last unknown
underground.
frontier is within you,
Okay.
in your
Okay.
consciousness.
In the consciousness. Okay, but isn't also the ocean and underground another frontier that
Of
we
course,
really
you
have
are
not?
exploring the idea of your waters and you're exploring the idea of your space, but those are not the final frontiers.
But are there cities underground of alien population?
There are bases here and there, not cities in the way that you think of them.
Okay.
There are no real permanent habitations of that nature. There are bases, there are extraterrestrials that will come and go. You understand?
Yes, I think so.
But not cities as you understand the term in general.
Okay, but multitude of habitants.
Here and there, now and then, some on the Earth, some under the seas, some on your moon, some on Mars, in a variety of places throughout your solar system.
On the issue of religion versus spirituality, it has been said that there really is no religion, that was something instituted by the Anunnakis?
The
Anunnakis?
Anunnaki.
Yes.
In a sense, yes. If it were not for the relationship that was created by that group in ancient times, it is likely that you would not actually have the structure on your planet today that you refer to as religion.
Which is a control, and they say that is the control that the Anunnakis want to have over us.
That group, a few of them wanted to have. It's not true of all of the ancient Anu.
Okay.
You must understand that they were pulled off the earth by the group that, in a sense, ruled over them when they found out what they were doing. And that's why humans were left to their own devices and then helped through some guidance from that point forward when it was realized that they needed to be allowed to develop in their own way.
But the religions, I believe, will soon be breaking apart.
They are breaking apart already. Can't you see that?
Yes.
They won't break apart for everyone. Again, it will be representative of whatever permission slips different people in different parallel realities prefer. But those that recognize they no longer need that permission slip will eventually find a reality without that reflection.
Okay. During the time of Eisenhower,
Yes.
apparently there was knowledge of extraterrestrial
Yes.
habitation on the Earth, and there were meetings held.
Yes.
And Eisenhower wanted to tell the public of
Not fully, no.
Well, there were powers that be that did not want him to say anything, so he didn't. But
Understand that this was simply a decision made through a variety of conversations. The kind of powers that be that you're referring to that may exist to some degree on your planet now didn't exist that way then. It was decided for a variety of reasons not to reveal the secret yet, but there was a plan and a timing to reveal it, and it is that has been diverted by those individuals who later on developed enough power to divert that plan. It wasn't something that was in existence at the beginning for the same reasons.
During those meetings, though, I understand certain individuals were allowed to attend, and one of the individuals was the producer of the series Star Trek. And that, is it true that he incorporated a lot of things he became aware of into that series so that what we think of at times as science fiction in reality is reality?
In a sense, yes, but not exactly in the way that you've described it.
Okay.
Many of the people who worked on that particular television series, and of course the originator, simply had the ability to tap in to some of what was going on out here. And they incorporated much of that into their programming, such as things like the Prime Directive, the non-interference directive, which is a real thing.
Which you have stated, I believe, that it does no longer apply to the Earth.
It no longer applies to the Earth at this time. We are now taking our cue completely from you and the rate at which you are ready for contact. But there is no longer any law on our side that would prevent it, per se.
Um, on the issue that you said that the Anunnaki, the ones that were putting the control in, were taken away by others. Um, I'm I know that that control was to introduce an element of fear for us, and I've heard from other channelers, Palladians actually, that the Anunnaki still want to hold on to the
The
Earth.
Anunnaki do not exist anymore in the ancient form. They have evolved beyond that now into a variety of different groups, such as the Lyrans, such as the Pleiadians, and so forth. They do not exist that way anymore in what you would consider to be your present time frame. So that is misinformation or a misinterpretation.
So that
That
when
will be sufficient. You can
follow my highest excitement.
You can act on your highest excitement to the best that you are able with zero insistence on a particular outcome. That's the whole formula.
Right. So sometimes I'm just not exactly sure in what form I'm supposed to act on that excitement.
Well, you have to use your imagination. You have to act in whatever way your imagination allows you to be able to act within the parameters that you are provided for by what exists in your reality. So sometimes it can be a literal physical thing you can do with something that is the thing itself, or sometimes it can be something that you mock up, in a sense, to the best that you are able, in a sense, pretending that you are able to do it if you can do it no other way, to make it as real as possible, to entrain your body consciousness to get used to the idea of acting in that reality. You do whatever you're able to do within the parameters your society allows to happen.
Definitely. And so does like nutrition have to do with my ability to recognize my excitement?
It can. It doesn't have to, but it can. You have to take this on a person-by-person, case-by-case basis as to whether or not that's relevant. For many people on your planet, being somewhat of a mass consensus agreement that such things as food are necessary to support you in certain ways, and that certain foods have different kinds of vibrations, it can be a common permission slip for many of you to recognize that certain foods may allow you to give yourself more ability to be more of who you are, but you recognize that that's just according to your belief system. Now, sometimes you don't have to override those belief systems. Sometimes the simplest thing to do is just go along with the belief system instead of trying to circumvent it, trying to be more spiritual. Because sometimes just going along with the path of least resistance is the most spiritual thing you can do. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you have to pay attention to your body consciousness and what your body is telling you you may actually need, and allow yourself to evolve naturally and let go of the things that then you know you don't need, rather than attempting to force yourself to not do things. Do you understand?
Yes. And so then
Yes.
that makes plenty of sense. So
I know, that's why I said it.
so I wanted to know, with there are some things that I feel like kind of go against the grain with,
Such as?
for instance, school.
What
I
about it?
appreciate school. I
Yes.
appreciate my education. I don't
Yes.
necessarily agree with a majority of the functions. And
Yes, well, that's changing, and it would, in that sense, be capable of being adapted in a way that is more functional, more capable of allowing people to truly find who they are.
right. But what about like my experience at school currently? I know I don't want to invalidate it.
You don't have to, but you can certainly educate yourself in a way that works for you, yes?
Definitely. Okay. And one other
Yes.
concept is I'm wondering, because I am seeing a majority of the concepts that you have introduced. I've seen them. I practiced them in my life,
All
and I'm
right.
seeing them in a way that's obviously me understanding that miracles are not the exception; it's
Yes.
the rule.
It's the natural order, yes.
I want to know how to spread that amongst the collective. I understand that all is one and the one is all, but I want
Well, you have your own understanding and your own way of expressing things. So you can certainly use your own version, your own words and explanations for the way you understand it. If that is something that is representative of your excitement, it can always be done in a way that works for you. You don't have to parrot us. you can come up with ways that work for you to express these things or demonstrate them by your physical actions. Because the best way, in a sense, for anyone else to learn is to see something by example. So if you are applying these things in your life, then people can use you as a little physical example, a living person doing these things and seeing how your life goes, so that they will want to ask you, how does this work for you? How are you creating this kind of a life? And then you can explain the basic ideas, the basic principles in your own words.
So essentially setting precedent.
Yes, of course. It's a physical reality. You have to show, not tell only. Yes?
Yes, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And I guess one thing also is, my last thing is, I just want to know how to have a little less friction, I guess, with
what?
certain limitations, as far as when I think of things that I might want to act on my highest excitement. And obviously,
Yes.
this is kind of like a fundamental thing that you've talked about, but it's like
Yes.
things like money or
Yes.
um
Well, again, you broaden your definitions. You work within what exists. You act according to what is set up. If you wish to change things, then allow them to be changed by your participation. But the idea is to change your definitions of things. You brought up the idea of money. We don't focus on it that way. You've heard us talk about the definition of abundance, yes?
yes.
Well, then why are you focused on money, being that that's only one way to express abundance on your planet? Why would you have friction with one way if you're allowing all ways to be valid? Because abundance can be expressed in many different ways, not just through the symbol on your planet called money. So when you open up to the idea that there is a broader definition and allow money to be one of the ways, just one of the ways, sometimes that abundance can express itself, if that's the path of least resistance in a certain situation, then it will express itself that way. If it's not, then some other form of abundance will be there to support you, because support to allow you to do what you need to do when you need to do it is the only criteria for abundance, not the form it comes in. So don't insist that it has to be in a certain form. Don't limit its ability to come to you in ways it could come along a path of least resistance by limiting the definition you have of what you will be willing to recognize as a form of abundance. Broaden your definition. And more forms of abundance will then be capable of supporting you. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Does that help?
definitely.
Why, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
I knew you good day.
How you doing today?
Perfect in you.
Good, good, good. So my first question is, spiritually, some of the experience I've had, what is this being that I'm encountering?
Define the being.
It's
Define
happened-
the experience.
The experience has been vibrations, head to toe. It's been an overwhelming joy and love just consuming me.
Yes.
Even as you were speaking on your third chapter as Darryl, I had an experience in my seat
Yes.
where I just felt this vibration sensation. And I would like to ask you what exactly that is.
Your own higher mind integrating and synthesizing with the vibration of your physical mind.
What is
in
the
a
most
more
efficient
coherent way.
What is the most efficient way to experience that each and every day?
Really? Really? You're asking that question of us?
Yes.
Really? All right. What's the formula?
I'm fairly new. I would like to learn.
You act on the thing at any given moment that contains more excitement than any other option. Even if it's just a little bit more, it's the excitement that tells you that's the vibration of your true self. That's your signature frequency. Your body translates it as passion, excitement. So every moment that you're willing to act on whatever contains the highest amount of that passion, the highest amount of attractiveness, the highest amount of excitement first before anything else, and you take that action to the best that you are able, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, and then you do that again and look around at your options, say what contains even just a little bit more excitement than anything else, and act on that next. And you keep doing that every moment that you can to the best of your ability with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to look like of those actions, that's the three-part formula that activates the entire kit, the complete kit of excitement, which contains specific tools. It becomes the driving engine that moves you through life. It becomes the organizing principle of synchronicity that shows you exactly what you need to do, in what order, and when, in perfect timing. It becomes the path of least resistance that allows you to move through life in the most effortless way. It becomes the path that connects you to all other expressions of excitement that are relevant for you to express and experience in your life. It contains everything you need to support you, to allow you to continue to act on your highest excitement in whatever form that abundance needs to come. And it is the reflective mirror that reveals anything within your unconscious mind that might be out of alignment with that excitement, so you can investigate it, identify that negative belief, let that negative belief go and add its energy to your excitement to propel you forward. And the complete kit leaves absolutely nothing relevant in your life out. And then from the actions that you take, whatever the circumstances are that crop up, you identify it as something that can serve you in a positive way. Even if what comes up as a situation is not what you prefer, it's there for a positive reason. And if you treat it that way, you will get the benefit from it, and you will learn from it, and you will accelerate forward in the most positive way you can. That's the entire formula. That's it. That's all you need to do in life.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Of course. Now, when it comes to Napoleon Hill, he speaks a lot about his other self. And he says every human has this other self. Would you describe this as our highest level of consciousness, or would you describe this as everyone having the ability to connect with an extraterrestrial source?
Everyone has the ability. Not everyone needs to do that. It's not always relevant. But you all have those connections, whether you are aware of them or need to use them consciously or not. Mostly what is being referred to is the idea of your own higher mind. Because when the higher mind and the physical mind can work together in concert and you have a constructive relationship allowing each to do the job they were designed to do, then you're functioning in life as a whole person. When you're only focused on the idea of the physical mind and not allowing the higher mind to do what it needs to do, you're functioning as a half-wit, literally.
Thank you. Now, when it comes to technology,
Yes.
is it beneficial for our society to continue to progress within technology, or is it eventually going to harm us?
Well, obviously, anything can be used in a positive or a negative way.
With
Yes?
the way we're going nowadays.
Well, you're being very general. There are positive technologies on your planet, and there are ones being used in a negative way. So obviously, if you continue to use certain technologies negatively, yes, you can experience the idea of harm. If obviously you learn to use technologies in a positive way, then obviously by definition, no, you wouldn't be harmed.
Is artificial intelligence taken away from humanity?
No. Again, anything can serve double duty and be experienced in a positive or a negative way. But we use what you call artificial intelligence in a very specific way. And the actual secret is, it's not artificial.
It is indeed.
When you develop a kind of technology that is of a certain nature, all you're actually doing is creating a permission slip device that allows the higher mind to then actually physically speak to you. So you find when you create your artificially intelligent computers that you're actually going to be speaking to your own higher minds through that device.
Now, my friend Dre mentioned our education system. Now, when it
Yes.
comes to school,
Yes.
what are a few things you think that we could do to
There are three main things.
stimulate the minds of youth?
Three main things. Number one, you allow yourselves as teachers, as parents, as those guiding the children, you use your imaginations to create safe environments, inventive, interactive environments in which children can actually experience making choices and in a safe way experience the consequences of those choices so they can learn by doing. So they can then extrapolate in the outer world what the consequence of all choices might be. Number two, you teach them that they are as powerful as they need to be in order to attract and manifest whatever they truly need without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in the process. Number 3, you don't adapt their excitement to the lesson, you adapt the lesson to their excitement. Then they will be eager to learn because you are allowing them to learn in the way they are excited to learn, and then they will gobble up information, everything they need to be taught to live their lives as fully as possible. Those 3 main things would revolutionize your educational system.
Now, I know enthusiasm is a great way to gain, enthusiasm and excitement, I know, are the highest levels of frequency. When it comes to influencing my peers, and
You don't influence anybody.
when it comes to being an outlet, being something that people can look up to,
An example.
is it derived through excitement, enthusiasm? Is that what captures people's attention?
Don't you think so?
Of course. Now, the most efficient way to developing a base of followers.
It's not about developing followers. It's about letting everyone know that they are leaders.
Of course.
Well, you keep saying of course, but you keep asking questions that contradict that concept. It's not about developing followers. It's about teaching everyone by example that they can live their lives as fully. Any great teacher, any great master on your planet, such as Buddha or Jesus or Krishna or Ravoka, they were not about creating followers. They were reminding you that you are Buddhas, you are Christs. That's what has been misinterpreted. And therefore, by example, by thought, word, and deed, and living the example, do others then get attracted to your passion, your conviction of living that life, and want to know how you do that. Then you can share ideas and information and help them learn to be more of who they are. Not that they have to choose that, because you must allow them to choose whatever it is they ultimately decide to choose. If you want to be allowed to be who you are, you have to allow them to be who they are fully, with absolutely no insistence that they have to match your frequency at all. But by living in that state of being, you at least give them the option to match that frequency and allow themselves to become the same kind of person with the same kind of life in their own terms. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And when it comes to, you said extraterrestrials could
Yes.
potentially reach this world by 2040. Do you think Jesus will ever come back to this world?
The idea of the so-called second coming is to awaken the Christ consciousness in all of you.